This is the St. George City Council regular meeting agenda scheduled for September 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. St. George City Hall, 14100 Airline Highway, St. George, Louisiana. As always, we will stand for the pledge. Flag. All right, roll call. Councilman Merle. Councilman Talbot. Councilman Monticello. Councilwoman Cook. Councilman Himmel. Councilman Edmonds. Councilman DeLucci. Here. All members are present. We have a quorum. Approval of minutes of the August 26, 2025 council meeting. All council members have received these minutes. Council. Motion to approve by Himmel. Second by Monticello. Any opposition to that? Hearing none. Minutes have been approved. Monthly activity report. Introduction of ordinances for public hearing on September 23rd, 2025. Sherry, I know the intent is to remove these introductions. Do we need a motion for that introductory item? Or is it something that can just be moved by? We defer the introduction for all three items at one time, or do I have to go individually? Right. Motion, well, that was a lot. Okay. Motion to table unless we officially take them off the table. Second by Councilman Talbot. Correct? Okay. Anybody opposed to that? All right, seeing none. Sure. So items for public hearing and action. Item number one is the ordinance to regulate the number and placement of vape shops, liquor stores, marijuana dispensaries within the city limits of St. George and for related matters. This was Council Member Merle's. He has asked for a deferral on this in lieu of going to our zoning commission first. Correct? That being said, it is on here for public hearing. So if there is anybody here that would like to talk on this item, I will allow that at this time. Seeing none. So Councilman Merle. Motion to defer. Second by Councilman Edmonds. Any opposition to that? Hearing none. Item number two, ordinance to establish regulations for the storage and disposal of waste tires within the city limits of St. George and for related matters. Also belongs to Councilman Merle. Drew, would you like to explain this for us?
Yeah, this is
And just for a little extra on that as well. So one of the big problems that's in the parish, and this initially came to us through the parish, they asked for our support on their item on their agenda, which we gave them. And in conjunction with them, we also wanted to adopt a similar ordinance here in St. George, and I believe the other municipalities in the parish are also going to adopt a similar ordinance. This is a littering issue. It's a blight issue. One of the main causes of this is that you have some bad operators that are out there that are, as everybody well knows, when you go get new tires, you pay a disposal fee. And sometimes they're not disposed correctly. They end up on the side of the road. They end up in a vacant lot, which causes all types of other issues. So this is a strong move by the parish as well as by us to kind of put a line in the sand and say that this is no longer going to happen. So I appreciate you bringing it forward. Once again, this is a public hearing. This item is up for public comment. If anybody here would like to talk on this item, now's your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period at this time. Council? Council? Any other questions, concerns? Motion to approve by Marcello, second by Himmel. Any opposition to that item? Hearing none, item is approved. Last item for public hearing action tonight is the approval of the hazard mitigation plan. A little bit about our hazard mitigation plan, and we'll bring some people up to kind of explain it a lot better than I will. We engaged with a company to facilitate our hazard mitigation plan, I believe, in January. It was a very in-depth process. It took some time. It was one of these things that we had to do as our own city to establish a lot of things, and also align with some of our federal players as well, especially in the need or the event that we have some type of federally declared disaster here. This kind of lined us up for the ability to get some of those dollars reimbursed. But it also highlights and shows where our areas of weakness are in the city and things that we can do to improve. I believe the plan also includes some action items that we will be working on for the next several years for our city, and or at least mitigate some of these items that cause so much damage. So, Meg, Reagan, would you like to speak? Yeah, they don't. Somebody's going to have to talk. You can sit. Turn your mic on, even though you speak really loud, but people at home can't hear.
hazards. And then you'll see also mitigation, parties responsible for taking that mitigation, and then also associated timelines with that mitigation. We try to make timelines as reasonable as possible. Some of these items were identified, and some of the mitigation timelines go as far as 2 to 4 years. So we try to make that as realistic as possible. All this information was not only gathered by the individuals that are sitting here, but at some of our meetings, we had 25, 30 stakeholders that were taken in the meeting. So this was a collaborative effort, not only by the individuals that are sitting here, but also with the community as a whole. Meg will come up now and talk about the responses we got from inside the community and the stakeholders.
Good evening, everyone. Meg Kling, St. George Fire, Public Information Education. So we did have a tremendous response from our community when we started pushing out the surveys. The first one we pushed out, we had over 100 responses. And in those responses, we asked, some demographic items. We had really a nice span of ages from where people live, different backgrounds. And as I'm sure you all are very aware, most of the answers and responses were the same. Everyone's worried about flooding. Everyone's worried about water. Everyone's worried about the storms that we see in the different, especially certain areas. We did get a couple of really precise locations. One guy actually wrote, "I'm worried about a tree on my yard," and we called him the next day just to really settle down, make sure he knew where to call, who to call, what to do. The other end of it, then we got a little more specific. We got with our stakeholders. We had about a dozen organizations from Energy and Demco and Atmos reach out on behalf of their organizations to tell us what they had to bring to the pot and what they needed to put into our little hazard mitigation gumbo here, and what they were concerned about and how they can help us out. We did the same thing from GOSEP, from MOSEP, from all of our other partners out there. So we got, like I said, an extremely awesome result from all of them. We took all of it to heart. We even have, there's one woman back there, Miss Margaret, who sent us incredible data and documentation after going through the draft itself. She picked apart things, she asked questions about things, and a lot of it we went back to these certain pages and we were like, oh yeah, let's adjust this here. So we're very grateful for our fabulous community for stepping up and giving us what we needed to complete this process. The other side of this, once this is approved, I'm sure you all are aware of this, but perhaps not our community, a lot of the other responses we got were in relation to how do you get your news, how do you get your resources, how do you get your information. So a lot of people put, I get it from regular TV, I get it from social media, I get it from the phone, I don't have TV. Some people put that was their concern. Once this whole plan is approved and FEMA comes in and recognizes us, well, they already recognize us, but once everything is wrapped in a bow in a nice little package, this actually gives us the opportunity to enhance the way we communicate to our community. So this gives us the opportunity to have some of the text messaging options, some of the different, just the different alerts that we can send out that will basically cover all the bases of information that were in all of these community outreach surveys. So it's kind of a pretty cool thing for everyone to have now that we're officially a city. I think that's all
entire process. So assess kind of capabilities, assisting in outreach, as Meg mentioned, but to really kind of piece it all together and make sure that we were ticking all the boxes of compliance to make sure that the state, we weren't going to have any issues with FEMA, that we did everything throughout the whole process that was required. So first, I also want to say it was a great honor to help you guys and assist in the very first ever plan. But it's not over. It's something that has to kind of be reviewed every year, and then every 5 years has to be formally resubmitted to FEMA. So there were a lot of things in terms of capability assessment that were going really well, and it is something that is a kind of a longer term project. So I guess I can give you guys an update. Megan and Reagan did a great job of kind of getting us to this point, but where we are right now, it has been submitted to the state. We, very exciting news that we had nothing to amend. They had no feedback and no suggestions. We even provided a checklist tool where we provided them citations and page to where everything was to kind of make it easier. And our thought process is hopefully that will help that time frame with the FEMA approvals. So it is now in the hands of FEMA, and we're hoping to hear back within roughly around two months or so on that approval. So if anyone has any questions, but
I did. Once we hear back from FEMA, is that the final?
that's the fun.
You said they need to do anything after that?
No, they have already, their role is at the front end to assist and provide anything that, well, oh, maybe you want to change this or that to assist with FEMA. That was actually where we had no feedback. And they said everything looks good because you guys tied everything to a compliance or regulation policy. So we're good with the state as of right now. We're just waiting to hear back from FEMA and their approval.
Good. What's your anticipated guess when that might be?
2, maybe 3 months. Right.
So for those who have no idea what we're talking about, hazard mitigation plan, why is this important for the city of St. George to have?
So this is really important because this will assess the city as a whole, response, recovery, not only in terms of fire, police, EMS, first responders, but also flooding. So what we also did was assist with GIS mapping to kind of take a look at flood zones and kind of find those hot target areas. So once those are identified, it's going to help first responders and also help just the general process know where these are the areas that we need to address first and foremost. And some are longer term. There was one potential idea is a buyout. So for properties on those lower lying areas, those repetitive loss areas, that it's an optional to kind of get some green zones. So there's all sorts of things between one end and the other. So it's going to help in that comprehensive approach in all aspects to mitigate damage.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Robertson, St. George Fire. Just to wrap it up, one thing on the plan did as well, if you looked at the East Baton Rouge plan, they lumped all the incorporated area of East Baton Rouge Parish into their plans. There was really no plan out there that really looked at our community as detailed as this plan is. So it's really great for the council to trust Metrics and the St. George Fire to be able to do this plan. It really details our community, what our stuff is, where that's never really been done before. So when these hazard mitigation grants come down the pipeline, now that we can assess that and put that to our community's use, rather than having the parish decide where those funds go. So that's the big key. That was great for our community.
Thank you.
Add one thing. Just to go back to the question of why this was, what the purpose of this plan is. The purpose of the plan is it is a requirement of being a new city. If this isn't done, then you would not be eligible for any type of FEMA funding down the road. So a mitigation plan is, again, part of being compliant to being a new city. So I just wanted to make sure that's clear. It's not something that they chose to do to be, you know, on another level as far as for planning purposes, but really for federal requirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
This item is a public item. If anybody from the audience would like to make a comment on this, now is the time to do it. We did a great job, no comment. I'll close the public comment period at this time. I just want to make one statement. First off, I really wanted to thank Reagan and Meg from St. George Fire Department. They really did a tremendous job. This isn't in their normal scope of everything that they're charged with doing every day here at the St. George Fire Department. So they put in a lot of hours and hard work on the fire department side to help facilitate this process alongside with the consulting firm that put this together. So we are greatly indebted to you for that, for sure. Part of this process, and we talked a little bit about the. I think Reagan mentioned it earlier. We have an opportunity here at St. George to kind of do one or two things. It's not just with hazard mitigation. It's kind of with everything that we do, right? It's with public works, it's with anything. We can look at it and just start putting out spot fires, right? So we go put this problem out, and we put this problem out, or we attack this, we attack that. But we have taken the approach here to really look at this city globally and see where everything's at and where all of our issues are at. Then over the next year or so, creating that comprehensive multi-year plan where we're going to attack it. Understand this, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was St. George. But in order to be a great steward of the tax dollars of the residents of St. George, we felt that this was the most prudent way to do it. Assess what we have, because as Chief Robertson said, this area had never really been assessed, right? And I can probably say that for everything in St. George, not just on the hazard mitigation side. I can say it on a public infrastructure side as well, for sure. So currently in the process of doing that as well. So not only was this one of those things that we had to do in order to be eligible for the FEMA reimbursements, but this is something that we really should have done. And it's not just to check the box, but this is the way that we plan on doing business here in St. George. Is let's think before we spend money. Let's look and see where we get the biggest bang for our buck. The data that they have compiled in this document here allows us to say, okay, well, look, we know we got 15 problems. Where are the most, the larger scale problems? Where's the low hanging fruit? Where are the things that we can really invest our time and energy and resources into that's going to make the biggest impact? That's really is going to be the difference. Not only what we do on the hazard mitigation side, but really how we deliver services. So once again, thank you to the St. George Fire Department. Thank you for Metric for being a great partner in this process. It surely went very, very well. Council.
I will say, it is the benefit of having
Well, one thing I did want to mention, it's not on the agenda tonight, but we'll bring it up now. So we recently had put out our largest contract. Our largest contract is for Public Works. So we've been talking about this for quite some time. It's taken us a long time to get here. The bids were due this past Tuesday, I believe. Wednesday, Tuesday, one of the days. So we received the bids in. We received one bid that came back in to take care of all of our public work. So I'm happy to say that IBTS is the bidder for that. So IBTS obviously has done all of our administrative stuff up to this point. And now they will have to eat the elephant one bite at a time and tackle our public works. I will tell you this, even though we're at this point, this will be a methodical process. We are not going to get crazy and start doing a bunch of things just because we have a public works and something going. There's going to be a lot of assessment that's involved in this. There's going to be a lot of prioritization that's involved in this. Also understand this, that we're walking into the door 1,800 calls behind. Okay, and what I mean by that is that's what we're inheriting from East Baton Rouge Parish. Okay, the call log the backlog that we are inheriting is 1,800. So I say that not to scare anybody or worry anybody. To me, it's almost, and this sounds funny, it's almost exciting because we have an opportunity to tackle something and get us back to the number where we should be. That number is 0. So it's going to be a process, but I can tell you we've already been working and doing some public work stuff over the last several months, and it's been a very educational process for me. But that same methodology will be put into play here as I talked about earlier. We will prioritize what needs to be prioritized. Doesn't mean, look, I understand everybody's issue in their front yard is the most unbelievable issue in the history of the world. I get it. I'm not saying that it's not important. Okay. But your neighbor might have a bigger issue that we need to fix first. We're going to get to everybody, and part of our process that I think has fallen short in the past with the parish is that we're going to communicate it to you. We're going to let you know. Okay, if we're not going to be there till next Friday, somebody's going to let you know that we're not going to be there till next Friday. If we have an issue with it, we're going to let you know that there's an issue. And I think that goes a long way with public trust, with transparency, just being open with you. Look, if we got a big problem, we're going to tell you. Okay, if it's an easy fix, we're going to tell you that too, and we're going to let you know we're going to be there and we're going to fix it. And that's just the way that we're going to operate. So anyway, just wanted to mention that about IBTS. We still have a few other things that we have to tie up contractually speaking, but we're in a much better place today than we were last September in regard to really tackling the public works issue. Last thing before I get the other business announcements, if anybody has any children, school groups, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, really anything, church, cheerleaders, yeah, we could go on. You get the idea. Groups of kids, okay, that would like to come to the meeting, say the Pledge of Allegiance, sit here. You know, this isn't the Metro Council. We're not here for 4 hours. It's generally a fairly painless experience. Not only gives them an opportunity to say the pledge in front of our city leaders here, but also gives them introduced to civics in their local government, which in my mind, local government's the most important of all. So that being said, other business announcements. Next city council meeting is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 5 p.m. Next Board of Adjustment meeting is Monday, October 6th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Planning Commission meeting is Monday, October 6th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Zoning Commission meeting is Monday, October 6th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn by Merrill, second by Himmel. Any opposition? Hearing none. Y'all have a great evening. Thanks for being here.